the Cleveland Browns are making moves. And some of it makes sense and some of it doesn't. But we're going to unveil the real reason why they are firing all these players on the offensive side of the ball in this video. Don't worry, I got it covered for you. And we'll actually kind of give you an idea of why they're doing it. But first, let's get to what's actually going on. The Browns are firing offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt days after a playoff loss and 2 assistants as well. All right, CBS Josina Anderson reports the Browns have fired offensive coordinator Alex Van Pelt and running backs coach Stump Mitchell. He's been there for a minute. And will not renew the contract of tight ends coach T.C. McCartney. Anderson also reports that some Browns players were upset with these decisions. Okay, this is interesting to me because it seems like through all the injuries, through all the struggles that were going on, the Cleveland offense actually got better as the season went on. And the other reason this is interesting to me is they're firing Alex Van Pelt. He does not call the plays. All right, we know that. Kevin Stefanski is the play caller in this offense, and he will probably continue to be, unless he's trying to get that thing off his plate. Van Pelt said, on to the next one. Proud of my time there. He didn't have a lot to say. He told some of the players. But here's what this is about. And I'm telling you right now, it is about one thing, and that is Deshaun Watson. You need an offensive coordinator. You need a coach that is going to be able to click with Deshaun Watson. What we have seen through 340 pass attempts, through 12 games of Deshaun Watson is nothing close to what he was in his MVP caliber season with the Houston Texans. He wasn't there. It's not because he doesn't have the weapons. It's not because he doesn't have the skill set. It's possibly because of coaching. We've seen quarterbacks do things really, really well or careers brought back to life because of good coaching, and we've seen careers gone downhill or even up seasons, down seasons because of coaching. Let's look at Lamar Jackson over in Baltimore. He doing okay this year? All right, you bring in a new offensive coordinator that knows how to maximize and utilize his skill set, and boom, voila. All right, I will also say scheming people open was not necessarily the Browns' strong suit. A lot of it was Amari Cooper doing Amari Cooper things. All right, David Njoku doing David Njoku things. I still, coming off his best season, thought it was very unique that the tight ends coach is gone. But the question is, who could they bring in? And I got someone for you. And there's a report out there that Browns are interviewing former star NFL running back for coaching position, and that is Deuce Staley. This is a man I know well. If you know us on this channel, you know that we're Detroit Lions fans, but we love teams that the media ignores. We're Erie brothers, all right, with the Browns. We understand what you have going on. Now is time for you to start getting these things happening. New coaches, all this kind of stuff, to how can we improve our team? We've told you you're cap strapped this year, so you need to improve internally. That's the way it goes. Deuce Staley was loved by the players. In Detroit, he was loved by the players in Carolina, about the only coach that was loved in Carolina. He went out with that Frank Reich staff. That did not go well. I don't know why he left Detroit. And he was with Philadelphia before that as well. He actually held the title as the assistant coach with the Lions as well. So Deuce Staley is there. Here's my question. If Kevin Stefanski is going to call the plays, could Deuce Staley be in for a promotion? Could you bring him in as an offensive coordinator? And could his job be to be that relational offensive coordinator? You have Stefanski being the X's and the O's, and then you have a former player, a guy who's been through it, a guy who knows what's going on as a relational piece. He can do that as a running backs coach as well. He absolutely can. But I think that might be a good idea. I will be honest. There were times where they would interview Kevin Stefanski, who we know is an atrocious interview. He gives nothing. He's basically Bill Belichick without the gruff, right? Like when he does interviews. Not always, but that's often like you're not going to get any information from him. And I can't tell you how many times this year I've been doing this YouTube video, and Kevin Stefanski gives me nothing, and then the next day when they interview Alex Van Pelt, all of a sudden, oh, that's what I wanted to know. Thank you, Van Pelt. And maybe that rubbed him the wrong way. Maybe it wasn't, it's just, maybe he wanted to be, hey, Alex, how about you stick in line with what I'm talking about? I'm not sure what the reason for it was, but betting man's money would say it didn't work with Deshaun Watson. You need someone in there that's working with Deshaun Watson. We see, and don't be surprised if the next person they bring in is a former quarterback. Don't be surprised at all. And I'm saying even think outside the box on this one. The Detroit Lions, when Dan Campbell came in, they traded for Jared Goff. They brought in Mark Brunell. All right. In San Francisco, they brought in Brian Griese to work with Brock Purdy. We've seen Byron Leftwich. We've seen all around the league former quarterbacks coming back as quarterbacks coach. Now, we haven't seen anybody being fired as a quarterback coach or anything like that. But don't be surprised if there's another move bringing in a former quarterback to do some sort of coaching to work with Deshaun Watson. And I don't know why my brain is going to this, but I've been hearing him interviewed often lately, and he clearly has a good mind for the game. And he's a guy who went through a very, very difficult trial and a very difficult season. I would not be surprised if the Cleveland Browns reached out to Mike Vick asking if he wanted to be a part of their coaching staff. I don't think that would be crazy. I think that is someone that would be phenomenal for Deshaun Watson. Remember, there was the whole dogfighting thing. Remember, there was all this kind of just nuts stuff, and he even went to jail for a season, and then he came back, resurrected his career, and did some really, really good things with the Eagles. Don't be surprised if they want to find a way to do the exact same thing with Deshaun Watson. I think that would be a perfect person to do it. It's time. This has been a good coaching staff. This is a coaching staff that has done a phenomenal job in getting these players ready under unbelievable adversity. But it's about time. The one thing they haven't done is bring in a bunch of former players that can have a good relation. So I love that the first thing that they did, and the first report we're hearing, is that Deuce Staley's coming into town. That's a good start. All right, let me know what you think. Who would you like to see as the next OC? Is it a big deal? Isn't it? You let me know, because Stefanski's still calling the plays, but culture's big. Culture's big. The defense seems to have it. Now what can we do with the offense? Thanks. See you on the next one.